Hello there. Welcome back to Economics at Grade 10. This video, we want to look at the first exam paper, whereby we are going to look at paper 2. So we're going to look at the first question according to this question paper. I'm going to start on the section of multiple choice questions. And let's subscribe to our channel. Let's not forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's share the link to our colleagues who are doing Grade 10 Economics. Let's turn on the notification button because many typical examination questions are going to be uploaded in this channel. So our question has got 30 marks, and we are going to be expected to spend on average 20 minutes on this question. So on 1.1, the question reads, various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the correct answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question number. That is 1.1.1 up to 1.1.8 in the answer book. So the first part, 1.1.1, reads goods that can be used to replace another. So we're given complementary goods, economic goods, substitute goods, and then we've got free goods. So you'll see that substitute goods is the most appropriate when we are describing goods that can be used to replace another. So in other words, we are saying instead of using good A, you can also use good B for the same purpose. So they are substitute goods. So we have C as the correct one. As opposed to complementary, we say they can be used at the same time. So that is complementary. So complementary is saying we cannot use good A without good B. That's complementary. But substitute, we are saying we can use good A instead of B, and you can use A instead of you can use also B instead of A. So this is what we have, the scenario that we have. So 1.1.2, utility that the consumer gains by consuming additional units of a product. By utility, it just describes the satisfaction that is gained by consumer by consuming a certain product. So when it comes to now by consuming additional units, now it becomes marginal utility. So we have got marginal utility here. So marginal utility is the change of total utility after consuming an extra unit. For example, you've been consuming 50 units, and now you are consuming plus one. Now you are consuming 51. So by consuming this extra unit, the difference in utility, maybe the utility at 50 was 150. At 51 is now 156. So it means utility, marginal utility that is there now will be 156 minus 150, which is our 6. So this now represents your marginal, which is the additional satisfaction that you gained by consuming an extra unit. So I will go to the next one. The combination of goods produced reflects the maximum utility of the consumer. They are given allocative efficiency, productive efficiency, Pareto efficiency, combined efficiency. So you see that allocative efficiency is the most appropriate. And remember, allocative efficiency describes that all goods and services meet the needs and wants of the society. So basically, our description is saying combination of goods produced reflects the maximum utility. So maximum utility means the maximum satisfaction by consuming all the goods. So that is allocative, which is the correct response that we have there. And then we go to 1.1.4. It reads when the quantity supplied of a specific good is greater than the demand for that good. In other words, we are saying quantity supplied is greater than quantity and demanded. So in such a scenario, we are going to have an excess supply, obviously, and it will lead to a market surplus. So on 1.4, we have got C, market surplus. C, we have got C there as the correct answer. So we are saying market surplus on C. So this is opposed to market shortages, whereby market shortages now it will be quantity demanded now it will be now greater than quantity supply. So this is now leads to a shortage. So moving on to the next question. So we can try to go to the next page. So 1.1.5 is formal meetings between union representatives and the employers. We have collective bargaining council, workplace forum, CCMA. So we see that the most appropriate that we have there is the workplace forum. So workplace forum, we know that these are committees elected by employees in the workplace, and we know they also meet employers on a regular basis for consultation in the workplace. So these are held by the employees, but on regular basis, they are supposed to meet the employers for consultation. So we have workplace forum, then 1.1.6, what effect will mechanization have on labor if there is an increase in the use of machines for production? So obviously, remember, in the production process, we can use labor, that is workers, and then we can substitute workers with machines. So if you now we are now increasing the use of machines, that is the mechanization, it means now we are substituting labor. So there's going to be a decrease in demand for labor by the businesses. So we have that description being on A, which is decrease in demand of labor. So this is what we have. 1.1.7, the monetary and fiscal policy used by the government forms part of the debt policy. We've got growth policy, supply side policy, demand side policy, need like policy. So according to the responses that we have got growth policy being the correct response that we have there. So you see that monetary and fiscal they can be adjusted to control the economic activity in the economy. So they can be supply side policies, they can be demand side policies. So, but in terms of growth policy, they also apply. So the most appropriate that we have there is a growth policy, growth, whereby they can be used to maybe to increase the economic activity in the country. So we have A as the correct response that we have. So we go to 1.1.8, the organization responsible for the publishing of labor force research in South Africa. So obviously there's a research that has been done. So obviously we have statistics are being put down. So obviously the organization that is responsible for statistics in Zimbabwe is Stats SA, which is the Statistics South Africa. So we have a B as the correct answer that we have there. That is 1.1.8. Then we move on to the next section, whereby we are now going to matching words section. So it reads, I choose a description from column B that matches an item in column A, right? Only the letter A to I next to the question number. That is 1.2.1 up to 1.2.8 in answer book. We are given column A, we are given column B. So we are going to pick words complementary goods, and then we pick description that we have that matches complementary goods. But we have already described complementary goods by saying these are goods that are used at the same time. So we try to see according to the responses that we have there. Right, we have got B, a good that can be used in conjunction with another good. That is exactly the expression that we're given. So we have got B as the appropriate answer on the first part. So here we are saying B. Then move on to imperfect market. So imperfect markets, we know that when you are having an imperfect market, it usually contains buyers and sellers who can influence not only the price, but also the production of goods and services. So basically, we are saying when we have an imperfect market, we have sellers having the power to set the price or influence the price, and also they can influence at the production level. So that is a imperfect market. Obviously, when they can influence, it means these businesses or these companies have got power in the market. So this is what we have according to imperfect market. So try to see the explanation that we have there. So let's try to go down. So at G is the most appropriate. Sellers of goods have the power to set prices. So you've got G is the correct response that we have there. Then we have got Pareto efficiency. Pareto efficiency, we know that is something that indicates that resources can no longer be allocated in a way that makes one part better off, obviously, without harming other parties. Harming, we are saying, by not making others worse off. So we are going to see that you cannot make something better off without making the other worse off. So basically, that's what Pareto efficiency means. So if you go to our responses, we can try to see in terms of what matches that explanation. We have got A here, which is an economic state where resources cannot be relocated to make one individual better off without making at least one individual worse off. So basically, this is the description that we have for Pareto efficiency. Excess supply of labor. Excess supply of labor, we are saying, obviously, that's the one that we described earlier, that when you have the excess supply of labor, we are going to have a market surplus. So we are going to look for the explanation that yes, that. So go down, you see that on the last one, when the supply of labor is more than the demand for labor in the specific sector, which is exactly what we are trying to explain. So we have got I. On the next question, we have got I. Then we go to the next one, basic conditions of employment Act. So what matches the basic conditions of employment act? So this is an act that is directed to the labor force. So we can just try to see there which explanation can make that. So if you go to C. If you go to C, let's try to see the description of C. Protects employees of all sectors regardless of whether they are in trade union or not. That's how they protect the employees, which is very correct. So we've got C. Then we've got the broad-based black economic empowerment. What actually explanation do we have which matches broad-based black empowerment act, broad-based black economic empowerment. So we go to the explanation section to see which one do matches that. So if you go to let's go to E, strategy used to increase labor force participation of economically marginalized groups. So broad-based black economic empowerment is there to protect the less economically marginalized or the economically marginalized groups that we have in the country. So usually it's mainly aimed at the black people as they are regarded to be the ones that are economically marginalized. So we have got E there as the correct answer. Then we have got labor court. Labor court, and we try to see what explanation do we have which matches labor court. We have got F, handling of labor disputes like unfair dismissal. So obviously, when you are dismissed unfairly, you can approach the labor court, and then the labor court can assist you. And if you are maybe being treated or working conditions are very harsh, it's another organization that you can try to reach out. So we have F for 1.2.7. Then the last one, 1.2.8, income redistribution. Income redistribution on its own, actually, it's an exercise that is used, or a process that is used to close the gap between the rich and the poor. Remember, there is taxation. It's one of the instruments which is used to effect the income redistribution by taxing the rich. And then when the government has collected revenue from taxing the rich, they redistribute that income to the less privileged in the country through giving them grants. So that is, so basically it is effected through the fiscal policy, because all the instruments that are being used are under the fiscal policy, that is taxation and government expenditure. So issuing of grants becomes an element of government expenditure. So this is what we have in terms of income redistribution. So we try to see which explanation do explain that. If you go to H, transfer of income and wealth from some individuals to others by means of social mechanisms such as taxation, charity, welfare, public services, land reform, and monetary policies, exactly as we are trying to point out. So we have got H here as the correct answer. So this is what we have on this section. So we can go to the last section now on the question one. That is, give one term for each of the following descriptions, right? Only the next, the term next to the question number, that is 1.3.1 to 1.3.6 in the answer book. Abbreviations, acronyms, and examples will not be allowed. Then 1.3.1, the motor industry is an example of this type of imperfect market. The motor industry is an example of this type of imperfect market. So remember, we have got different market systems. We have got a monopoly, we have got the perfect market system, we have got the monopolistic, and we have also got the oligopoly market system, market structure. So now which do apply to this one, which is the motor industry. But in the motor industry, we know that we have got we have a few dominant firms that are there, which is one of the descriptions of the oligopoly, that there will be few firms that are dominant in that market in such a way that one of the firms cannot influence the activities of another firm, because all of them they are dominant. So if you look in the motor industry, we've got examples of companies that are there. We've got Toyota, we've got BMW, we've got Nissan. So those typical examples of companies that operate under the motor industry, they actually reflect the characteristics that we are saying are few and dominant firms. So the description that we have there is oligopoly. So we go to the next one. The maximum amount a consumer is willing to pay for a good or a service. The maximum amount um, a consumer is willing to pay for a good or a service. So we call it the value. The next one, the lowest price that consumers of a product have to pay the owner of a product, minimum price. So this one is the lowest price that consumer product have to pay the owner of a product, minimum. We have a minimum price. The next one, people between the ages of 15 and 65 that are willing and able to work. We know that this is the economical active population. So we are just going to indicate that economically. Active population. So from this one, that's what we have. Then we go to the next one. In association, we help workers negotiate with employers over wages, hours, benefits, and other working conditions. Obviously, we have this association. Obviously, is working on behalf of the workers in terms of making them better off in terms of working conditions, in terms of wages, which is also the salaries, benefits. We know that these are trade unions. They work on behalf of the workers. So we've got trade unions. Then on the last one, the process in which government takes over ownership of businesses in the private sector. So ownership is being taken up in the private sector. Obviously, this is going to be our nationalization. So nationalization, we are saying this is the transfer of ownership that is taking place. So it's basically the process of transforming privately owned assets or in the form of, they can be in the form of businesses into public assets. Basically, that can be a brief description that you can give in terms of a nationalization. So here we have got nationalization. So this is what we guys are to this video. Let's not forget to subscribe and share. Let's not forget to share the link to our colleagues who are doing grade 10 economics. More typical examination questions are going to be uploaded on this channel. Let's support the channel. Let's meet again in the next video. As for this video, I'm signing out.